Seemingly out of nowhere, a user who goes by the name of Force has brought Uncharted 2 multiplayer back from the dead. Like, I just recorded this an hour ago. If you weren't aware, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, and The Last of Us multiplayer on PS3 were officially shut down on September 3rd, 2019. The Last of Us Remastered, of course, on PS4 is still running Factions multiplayer to this day, and Uncharted 3 multiplayer has been resuscitated for a few years now because the game had built-in LAN multiplayer functionality, so players could take advantage of that through networking software. And the Uncharted Reloaded community has been running games pretty regularly for quite a few years with that now. Meanwhile, Uncharted 2 has been left in the dust because the game requires a network handshake to even access the multiplayer menu, and then there's no LAN multiplayer functionality built into it. And at this point, it's basically been in progress by various developers for 5 years at this point. I've heard a few things here and there about drama between developers, but I couldn't really be bothered to dig into it. Back to this week, this user Force managed to get Uncharted 2 servers working, and I was fortunate enough to be one of the first people to test out his server solution. He said that all the necessary network data and data files were already captured 5 years ago, so it's really a mystery why no one has gotten to this point until now. Anyways, enough background on that. I'm going to show you how to set up the DNS settings to access his servers and take a look at the menus, and then we'll get into this full match, and I'll post this full match as a separate video, which I'll link down below. At the moment, you can only play with a actual PS3 copy. I think digital or physical should work, but you can play custom multiplayer or co-op games. And he also said he's going to be working on an RPCS3 emulated version, so people can play multiplayer through that down the line as well. So grab your copy of Uncharted 2 and your PS3 and let's get into it. So to get access to this, you're going to have to join the Discord. I'll link that down below. You got to get your PlayStation Network name approved, and then you'll get the DNS IP, which I'll show you how to set up on your PS3 now. So go over to the settings tab, go down to the bottom in network settings, and then presumably your PS3 is already connected to the internet, so you're just going to want to click settings and connection status list. This will show your current IP address, subnet mask, and default router addresses, so you're going to want to take a screenshot or a picture of those because you're going to have to set those up manually in a second. So write those down or take a picture of them, and then we're going to go down to internet connection settings. And now we're going to set it up custom. I'm on wireless, so I'm hitting wireless, but you can do wired as well. That should be easier if you have that as an option. If you're already connected to the internet, it'll have your SSID and password saved, so you can just skip all these steps. Once you get to this page, IP address setting, you're going to want to change it to manual. So this is where you go refer to that written down IP addresses or screenshot that you have, and you're going to want to set the IP address to the one that you had. Subnet mask, change it if it was something different than this. And then default router, set that to the same one that you had in the screenshot. And then primary DNS, you're going to want to use the DNS IP once you get it from the Discord. So to get the DNS, join the Discord, follow the steps in there to get access to this DNS server, because that's what you're going to need for Uncharted 2 to connect and work. Secondary DNS, you can probably leave it, but if you don't have an internet connection after all of this, then change secondary DNS to 8.8.8.8. After that, everything you can just leave it as it is, and then it'll ask you to test your internet connection. So let's do that. If the first three work, then you should be good to go. UPnP might or might not work. That doesn't really matter in this situation, but you want to have an internet connection and PSN connection. So after that, you should be ready to get into Uncharted 2. Make sure your PSN is signed in at this point. Make sure your console is updated, make sure your game is updated. Another troubleshooting tip for Uncharted 2, if it's freezing after the first loading spinning dagger screen, is go into the game tab of your XMB, go up to game data, and then delete the Uncharted 2 game data that's in there. Then you're going to have to re-update the Uncharted 2 game, which will take quite a while because the PS3 is so slow, but if the game doesn't work, you got to do this. So this will just reinstall all of the software patches for Uncharted 2. It will take quite a while, but once you do it, you should be able to get into the main menu of the game. And assuming that the servers are up, you should be able to connect to multiplayer. It will take quite a while on the first time. It will say syncing live data quite a few times. Just leave it going. It's much faster after the first time. But after that, you should be into the multiplayer lobby. And everything will be just as you remember. Your rank will still be there, the leaderboards are still there, your trophy progress. I assume these are the leaderboards from 2019. I'm not sure if they update right now. As of the time of recording, only custom games are working, so you got to invite each other into matches. But he said matchmaking is also on the roadmap. The DLC is available for free in a few regions, but it seems to be kind of all over the place depending on your PSN region. But your best bet is to use the PSN store directly, not the in-game store. All of my cinema match files were gone, but that's not a big deal. All of my perks and my skins. And there's the man himself. I'm just gonna join his party and we're gonna get into a game here.
Yeah. Whoa! Here we go. No. Okay.
I was using this Retro Fighters Defender controller with my PS3 and it has nicer triggers than the original DualShock 3 had, but unfortunately it doesn't look like you can swap L1 and R1 with the triggers in Uncharted 2, so you're still stuck with using the top buttons to aim and shoot, which is weird because it looks like you can swap them left and right, but you can't swap them top and bottom. But just a little thing. Good to be back. Cinema mode works. Once you play a game, it should go into cinema mode, so you can get back to making crazy machinima montages. As I mentioned earlier, I'll link his Discord down below. You can join the Discord, ask to get invited, and get the IP, so you can play multiplayer and join some games. Never thought I'd see the day where we can play Uncharted 3 multiplayer again, but here we are. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and make sure to check out the Discord down below and get into the action.